Have you ever kept watching a terrible show, reading a boring book, or sitting through a movie you absolutely hated just because you needed to know how it ended? You're not enjoying it. You're frustrated, maybe even angry at yourself for wasting your time, but you can't stop. You have to see the ending, even if every minute feels like torture. So what's happening here? Why do some people feel this compulsive need to finish stories they do and even like, while others can quit without a second thought? Is it stubbornness, curiosity, or something much deeper in your psychology? Stick with me because what you're about to learn might finally explain why you can't walk away, even when you desperately want to. For some people, this need to finish comes from something psychologists call the Zeigarnik Effect. This is when your brain remembers unfinished tasks better than completed ones. Essentially, an incomplete story creates psychological tension. Your mind hates loose ends. It craves closure. So even if the story is terrible, your brain keeps nagging you because it registered the beginning as an open loop that needs closing. Studies show that unfinished narratives activate the same brain regions associated with unresolved stress. It's not that you care about the characters or the plot anymore. It does that your brain is treating the unfinished story like an unfinished task on your mental to-do list. For this group, finishing isn't about enjoyment, it's about relief. The only way to quiet the mental noise is to see it through to the end, no matter how painful. Then there's a second type, the completionists. These are people whose identity is tied to finishing what they start. Psychologists link this to something called conscientiousness, one of the big 5 personality traits. Highly conscientious people have an internal drive for order, responsibility, and follow-through. They don't just start things, they finish them. It's a point of pride. Quitting feels like failure, even when the thing they're quitting is objectively not worth their time. So they push through terrible books, awful shows, boring games, not because they're enjoying it, but because their self-image depends on being someone who sees things through. The problem? This trait that serves them well in work and life becomes a trap in entertainment. They've turned leisure into obligation. For them, needing to know the ending isn't curiosity. It's a compulsion rooted in their need to maintain their identity as someone who never quits. And then there's the third group, and this one's more emotional. These are people who can't walk away because they've already invested so much time and energy. Psychologists call this the sunk cost fallacy. It's when you continue something not because it's valuable, but because you've already put so much into it that quitting feels like admitting you wasted your time. You've already watched 8 episodes. You've already read 200 pages. You've already sat through 2 hours of a 3-hour movie. So your brain says, if I quit now, all that time was for nothing. But if I finish, at least I'll have closure. The irony? By staying, you're wasting even more time. But the human brain struggles with this logic. Loss aversion makes us fear wasting what we've already spent more than we value our future time. For this group, finishing a story they hate is about protecting their past investment, even if it means sacrificing their present well-being. But here's what ties all 3 together. They've all lost touch with the purpose of stories. Stories are supposed to enrich you, entertain you, move you, teach you something. But somewhere along the way, finishing became more important than experiencing. Closure became more valuable than enjoyment. And that's not just about stories. It's a mindset that bleeds into life. How many relationships do people stay in just to see where they go? How many jobs do they hate but can't leave because they've already been there so long? How many decisions do they regret but can't reverse because they're too deep in? Neuroscience shows us something powerful. Your brain doesn't actually need to finish every story. What it needs is permission to let go. When you consciously decide to stop, when you give yourself closure by saying, this isn't serving me, your brain can move on. The tension releases, the loop closes. Not because you saw the ending, but because you made a decision. So if you're someone who forces yourself through stories you hate, ask yourself this. Are you finishing for you, or are you finishing for the illusion of completion? Because life is too short to consume content out of obligation. Your time matters. Your attention matters. And sometimes the most powerful ending is the one where you walk away. So here's the real question. Are you watching, or are you trapped? If this made you rethink how you consume stories, hit subscribe. We explore the psychology that explains the patterns you didn't know you had. And if this resonated, you need to watch our previous video on the psychology of people who feel like they're performing. It explores how your brain creates patterns of behavior based on what you think others expect. Link is on the screen now. Let's start choosing presence over completion together.